Every week, the program Sports Nation introduces you to the main events of Kazakhstan and world sports. We cover large tournaments, find outstanding heroes, and open doors to the best sports arenas in the country. Today we will visit the international streetball tournament of format 3-3. We'll have a talk with the player of the national football team of Kazakhstan, Dmitri Shomko. Also, we'll find out how kickboxing is developing in our country. Astana, international tournament of basketball, format 3-3. Organizers hid from the bad weather in the shopping center. People looked at the court where teams of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Turkmenistan fought for the right to get into the next round of the World Cup selection. Previously, it was called street basketball. Now we created format rules. The International Basketball Federation introduced discipline 3-3. We have quite high positions in Central Asia, so we took on the organization of the championship in Kazakhstan. Girls came out first on the floor. As a result of the two-day competition, Kazakhstan streetball players proved that they are the best in Central Asia. In the final, the Kazakhstan national team beat the Astana Tigers with a score of 19-17. In the match for the third place, representatives of Turkmenistan ahead of schedule beat Almaty team Kazakhstan 21-11. Men had very different speed in competition. In the first match of the semi-final, Team Bishkek from the capital of Kyrgyzstan was stronger than the Almaty streetball team Mao and won with a score 22-17. The tournament is held in the shopping center. This is the format that FIBA follows all over the world. Usually games of a format 3-3 are held either on arenas or in shopping centers. It is very cool. The team Zhigalma from Almaty and the team of Turkmenistan met in the other semi-final. Despite the burden of responsibility, Almaty residents easily coped with rivals, allowing them to score only 5 points. The format is new. It is one of the stages of selection for the World Cup. The Kyrgyz have a very strong team. They came from the World Cup and performed well. They are the stars of Central Asia. If in the women's finals for Kazakhstan as a whole the winner was unimportant, then in the decisive match against the Kyrgyz, the Almaty squad Zhigalma had to play at the 100% to beat Team Bishkek with a final score of 20-14. In our team, there are 3 players who are not professional athletes. They do not play in any leagues, only in amateur ones, and only 1 player is a professional. Thus, the team which before the start of the tournament was not even considered to be a favorite will represent Kazakhstan at the final stage of the Asian selection. Experience shows that the guys who play streetball rather than classical basketball, they have a more successful game in the future. They are more experienced. Many people leave to play in this format, even though they played in the format of 5-5 before. In 2020, street basketball will be presented at the Olympics in Tokyo as a separate discipline. To get from the street platform to the main games of 4 years is now quite realistic. Next on the program, the player of the national football team, Dmitri Shomko, about the Champions League, fields with unsatisfying conditions, and the new coach of Astana club. His transfer fee is estimated at 2 million euros. He is one of the most expensive players in the country. It is natural, because for several years a simple guy from Ekibastuz, now a player of Astana, is the best left defender of the National Football Championship. Dima, hello, how are you? In principle, everything is fine. The qualification of the Champions League is starting. How is the players' mood? They're ready, everyone is in a good mood. Not many of us have injuries. This is the most important thing. Recently, Roman Grigorchuk became the head of the team. What changed in the first place? We didn't observe major changes. There were small changes in the training process and in the overall strategic plan. But in general, we work as we used to. We play according to standard plan and train according to some new methods. With each round, we add new tactics that the head coach offers us. I think it's a good sign that we started well in the qualification of the Champions League and came in the best possible shape.
Стартовали хорошо в квалификации Лиги Чемпионов и подошли в оптимальной форме.
Do you think you got lucky with a draw?
Я думаю, нет слабых соперников на любом этапе. Это самое.
There are no easy opponents, even at this stage. This is the most prestigious tournament in Europe. Every team wants to go further. I think Montenegrins are no exceptions. There will be a good game. We will prepare for it 100%. We will give all our best for the victory.
Будем отдаваться этой игре, чтобы пройти дальше.
Tumasi said goodbye to the team. No, he didn't go anywhere. Do you keep in touch? Maybe you know. Our top managers take care of that. We do not interfere with it. Of course, I think that Patrick made a great contribution to the history of Astana in the Champions League, the League of Europe. He made a contribution for the whole country. At the moment, I do not have information about what happened to him. Is the current composition able to solve the problem of reaching the group stage of Champions League?
У нас, в принципе, костяк команды остался, все на 80%, у нас, может, до 90%.
The main members of the team has remained. At 90%, we've been playing together for about 3 to 4 years. We strive for the goal.
Всегда поставлены цели, несмотря на то, что у нас там.
Despite the fact that 2 or 3 players are gone, competent selection of the club brings us fruit. They find talented guys who join our team.
Приносят нам плоды, они находят всегда талантливых ребят, которые безболезненно вливаются в наш коллектив.
The national team is waiting for the most important matches within the League of Nations. The last friendly matches inspire incredible optimism. What did Stoilov change, and what did the players of the national team think of it?
Я думаю, самое первое, это изменилось отношение всех игроков к вызову сборной.
I think, first of all, the attitude of the players to the invitation to the national team has changed. Everyone understands that the national team is the highest point for a football player, so that he achieves something more precisely with the national team. Now it's time to raise the national team to the level that we deserve. I think that we were undeservedly not included in the top 100. I think we want to improve in every quality, to be ready for the League of Nations at 150%.
Чтобы мы просто были готовы на 150%, мы готовы были к Лиге наций.
According to the media, at the beginning of the year, there were problems with financing.
Ну, в принципе, ничего такого серьезного не произошло. Там, я думаю,
Nothing serious happened. I think a lot of players are waiting for funding closer to March. There were small debts, but we closed all of them in 2 months.
Маленькие долги, это, я думаю, закрылось там буквально за месяц.
As for bonuses, they were all paid in full. Everyone is happy.
Касается каких-то премиальных там вознаграждений, все это было выплачено в полной мере, и все довольны.
So nothing prevents the team to prepare for the matches of the League of Champions and the Premier League. At the moment, we owe nothing in terms of salaries. Is it true that Desportovich could have gone to Los Angeles Galaxy? Yes, he left and even said goodbye to the team. But Zlatan Ibrahimovic came to the team and destroyed all plans of Desportovich.
Ну, это так и было. Он попрощался с командой, все сказал, ребят, спасибо всем.
He said to the management, "The guys, thank you all. I'm leaving." It so happened that Zlatan was ahead of him. The leadership wanted Zlatan more.
Буду подписывать уже контракт. Так получилось, что Златан, я не знаю, то ли опередил, то ли больше руководство захотело Златана.
In this season, only Astana and Kairat are real contenders for the championship. What distinguishes the current season from the previous ones?
Каждый сезон по-разному команды вливаются, некоторые команды показывают.
Each season, the teams play in different ways. Some show good football. The first 5-6 teams in the standings show good football. Thank God Astana and Kairat do not lose points yet. In the last night meeting we won, and ahead of Kairat. These are very important points that were earned in Almaty. For the last 2-3 years, we didn't win anything in Almaty.
Мы там в протяжении 2-3 лет там не выигрывали.
Name the most terrible field where you had to play as part of the championship of Kazakhstan. Yes, it's almost all fields. The best field is in Almaty. Among natural lawns, it is the best. Among the artificial fields, Astana is the first place. I think one of the worst fields is in Atrau, which is an artificial, reserved field. We arrived and we transferred the game from natural to artificial field, because the natural was in a very bad condition. Fields are very important. Because of bad fields, you can get ridiculous injury. You just run, turn your ankle, you're done. I would like for Kazakhstan to take care of the quality of the fields. Is it difficult to adjust after the European Cup matches, where there are ideal fields, atmosphere, full stadiums, to the matches of the Championship of Kazakhstan?
Да, у нас было в 2015 году, когда мы прошли групповой этап Лиги Чемпионов, и на следующая игра была то ли в Кызылорде, то ли где.
Yes, in 2015, when we went to the group stage of the Champions League, the next game was in Kazlorda. There was about 40 degrees, bad natural field. It was not horrible, but we could not adapt to it. When you play in the Champions League and there are 30,000 fans, you're overwhelmed with emotion. You want to run without stopping to achieve a result that is important for the whole Kazakhstan. Then we came to Kazlorda and lost with the score 2-1.
Чтобы добиться результата того, который для всего Казахстана будет важен. А приезжать, потом мы приехали, просто не могли собраться, и, кажется, мы проиграли 2-1, если я не ошибаюсь.
You are by right one of the most expensive players in Kazakhstan. What suggestions did you receive during your play for Astana?
Знаете, это лучше, не знаю, вопрос к моему агенту.
You need to address this question to my agent, Dima Gaev. He takes care of this. There were options. I'm not going to name the clubs. There were foreign clubs after all. Russian clubs from the Premier League. The teams from 8th place and below. There were no clubs from the top 5. There were no Moscow or Zenit clubs. Did you consider these options?
Конечно, рассматривал бы, если бы.
Of course, if I could prove myself, I would play. But apparently, I have not yet reached the best form to play for the best teams in Russia.
Достиг той, наверное, формы, чтобы играть в этих топ-5 команд чемпионата России.
Is there such a goal to get into any foreign championship?
Знаете, я пока, конечно, я размышлял, думал и советовал со своим агентом.
You know, I was thinking about it, consulted with my family. Everyone says that at the nearest opportunity, I need to try at least myself in Russia. But I think that I did the right thing, that I stayed in Astana. When we heard the anthem of the Champions League, we were not that shocked, but we had goosebumps. We simply stood together with Zhenya Postnikov and talked about what was going on.
Как сказать, не то чтобы в шоке, но очень хорошо. Мурашки были, 100%. Просто с Женей стояли Постниковым рядом, говорили, что происходит вообще.
Do you remember your brightest goal? A goal in Ireland, Kazakhstan national team in 2013. It was a high ball. Yes, it was a cut-through, an accidental goal, but it was very important and affected the outcome of the meeting. And one more goal was scored in Portugal.
И что можешь какой сказать? Конечно же, с Португалией, Спортингу.
Who's the most talented football player you ever played in the same team?
Нурбол Жумаскалиев, Андрей Карпович. И они были у нас здесь в команде. Тот же Кайрат Нурдаулетов.
Nurbol Zhamaskaliyev, Andrei Karpovich, and Kairat Nurdauletov. Everyone was here in Astana. I was lucky enough to play with them in one team. These are very important people for Kazakhstan football. I wanted to learn everything from Nurbol. I was 21 years old. I watched him perform penalties. I was delighted with it.
Я смотрел, когда Нурбол как исполняет штрафные на тренировке. Я был восхищен этим.
The World Cup continues. Which team impressed you the most? Russia. Due to what? Due to its organization. Many talked about them in a bad way, and they did everything to make people proud. Thanks for the interview. Thank you. Coming up, Coach Bulat Kitarov will open the world of kickboxing to us. Now guys, stand up. Beat with the left hand, then with the right. This series is called 2. 1-2. Kickboxing, unlike most martial arts, was born immediately as a sport, not as a martial art. It couldn't help but appear. Kickboxing combines the features of various Oriental martial arts and boxing. Ali Khan, do not come too close. Get far from there. 1-1-2. Here, well done, do not come close. Previously in kickboxing, any blows with hands, undercuts, grips, throws, footboards were allowed. There was no division into weight categories. Now throws, seizures, blows with elbows, knees are excluded. Nevertheless, kickboxing continues to develop.
Правила кикбоксинга такие, те же удары.
Rules in kickboxing are the same as in boxing. A direct blow, a side kick, and a blow from the below are applied with your hands. There is a full contact section, when the blows are placed above the belt, and the low kick section, when the kicks are applied to the legs.
Когда удары бьются ногами в ноги, возможно. Самые опасные удары в кикбоксинге – это удары low-kick.
The most dangerous blows in kickboxing are low kicks and punches, which are applied on the outside of the thigh and on the inside. They are very painful blows. Therefore, these attacks are used by MMA fighters.
Поэтому эти удары используют бойцы без правил.
Kickboxing in Kazakhstan appeared in the 1970s of the last century. The most interesting thing is that it was influenced by films with Chuck Norris and Jean-Claude Van Damme. A lot of techniques are borrowed from Wushu, Taekwondo and Karate. As a result, kickboxing guarantees an extremely spectacular performance at the ring.
Любым единоборством должен заниматься с таким.
Any kind of martial arts should be dealt with a clear goal, why you're coming to train at the gym. I think children should start training from 8 to 10 years old, not earlier. With young children, it would be difficult. They're difficult to manage. Men come here already over 60. I had a man who was 63 years old. He says that he dreamed of kickboxing. Now he's retired and there is time for that. Why not?
На пенсии есть время занимать. Почему нет?
Amateur kickboxing includes a protective helmet with more reliable protection of the top of the head for fighters. A mandatory condition is the presence of a kappa. Gloves are worn by a kickboxer before entering the ring. Hands are bandaged beforehand with bandages. On feet, only special footwear. Any other footwear is forbidden.
Любой вид спорта – это адский труд, это первое. Это дисциплина, это, допустим.
Any kind of sport is a lot of work. It requires discipline. You can't go out to clubs. You need to live with the sport. To find that student who wants to train is on the first place for me. Many train for themselves. There is such a thing, to train for personal reasons. It is important for any coach in any sport to find a talented person who wants to achieve something.
Это надо найти самородка, который хочет чего-то достичь.
Video of the week concludes our program. Remember the most unusual place where you played sports. Although it is not necessary, you still cannot outsmart NASA astronauts. who play softball at the space station.